A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the show. My name is Ben Barber, and I am very excited because today, all the way from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, we have Robert Nelson joining us from Just Mystic and Just Portsmouth, although you guys might be more inclined to talk about Just Mystic on this channel, which is exactly what we're going to do today. Robert, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So tell me a little bit about Just Mystic, how it started, what it is, where people can find you.
Yeah. So, I used to work for Nike, and when I was still working for Nike back in around 2020, 2021, I was coming back home pretty often to Mystic and, just kind of watching the rise of the Mystic area. And, really for the last decade, it started to just kind of take off. It's always been this like really quaint, very popular destination, but it's really just kind of taken on a new life in the last, 10 years. And I was seeing that, and I was home, and I was like, I really want just like a classic collegiate hoodie that just says Mystic on it. Very simple, clean, classic. And I couldn't find it. The product that I was looking for, I just couldn't find. And I was shocked that it didn't exist in Mystic, given what it is as a place. And so that was kind of a light bulb that went off. And I was also with my sister, who's now my co-founder and co-owner of the business, and she's a designer. And we were talking about just how it'd be we could combine our skill sets to create this product that was missing in the market. And, we were both, frankly, kind of ready to start our own business. We've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. And, and so ultimately it's just like that kind of like little insight and that desire to fill this little gap in the market. That's how it started.
That's awesome. And I mean, it makes sense now that you came from Nike and all of, because everything that you do is beautiful. These I was on the website earlier, and like just the hoodies are gorgeous. Like everything that you have here, those sweatshirts, the like the style is exactly what you were talking about. The like everything. How quickly did it come together for you when you were going to do this?
We basically started launched an LLC in I think August 2021, and then we had a pop-up in October 2021. And so that pop-up was literally just a tent that we put together with some sample hoodies, crew necks, and t-shirts on the side of the street in Mystic, right near S&P, or no, excuse me, Oyster Club. If everyone knows what Oyster Club is, on Water Street. And literally we just like we had a tent on a like little grass lawn area across from Friar Tuck's, and that really all happened within 2 months of us kind of recognizing this insight in the market. But ultimately, we didn't have our first retail store until May of 2022. So basically, we kind of had this pop up, and we did this pop up for multiple weekends in the Mystic area, and then by May we were able to open a store. And that really kind of felt like opening the store kind of like really felt like the true launch of the brand and of the business. And so that was just over 3 years ago now.
It's incredible because I feel like in those 3 years I have seen your apparel everywhere. It's it is definitely something that was missing, and that you were able to fill the gap in and do it so well that it has become beloved by tourists, locals, everyone. How have you felt the reception has been for you guys in the last 3 years?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah, just an incredible community response, very receptive, very welcoming. Where I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit down in the segment, but we're getting the kind of the same welcome up here in Portsmouth. New Hampshire. But yeah, no, very, very welcoming. It's been incredible. I mean, I'm, kind of humbled anytime I see somebody walking around town with one of our shopping bags, or I see somebody wearing, one of our hats or hoodies, whatever. It's great. And, and I think, we've seen a lot of growth because we focus a lot on quality, and, quality is really, really important to us. And I think, when people recognize or they experience that quality, they want to tell people about it. And so that's really helped with the word of mouth marketing. But it's also helped us build relationships outside of, the consumer brand. And we do a lot of wholesale now as well. And so, I think that's just been incredibly rewarding as well, being able to work with some local businesses to help them with, the merch that they have in their store or that they're giving to their customer. So yeah, ultimately it's just been incredibly humbling, and we've just been, really so pleased.
That's awesome. What inspired starting Just Portsmouth?
Well, we've really crystallized this concept for our business model, which is that we are your town's university store. And I think for like 90% or more of people, you go to that kind of resonates with them. You go to like a university and you go to like the campus bookstore, and you kind of know what you're going to get. You have all this like branded apparel and products that's, representing that university. And it's a very classic collegiate style. Again, it's simple, clean, and classic, which is kind of what we are. And, a lot of towns want that. Most towns want that.
I was just going to say, who would be like, no, thanks.
Right. I mean, many people have a lot of town pride and they want to represent it. And they, can't always do it in the way that they want because that product doesn't exist, or maybe the quality that they want, it doesn't exist. And so, as we've crystallized this concept of your town's university store, we said, hey, we would love to expand and take that elsewhere to a place, that kind of checks a lot of boxes, that in a way is kind of like another Mystic. And Portsmouth, does check a lot of those boxes, and it is kind of like a bigger version of Mystic in some ways. And so, that, us crystallizing this vision and this concept, and, our ambition to keep growing and to bring, high quality product to places that, feel like it's missing, that really has inspired us to expand to Portsmouth.
Question. You don't need to open up a new store here. I'm not saying that. It's a very short drive. Can we get some Westerly merch?
I mean, yeah, no, I know Westerly is just down the road, and it's definitely on our radar.
All right. I'm just saying.
We love Westerly. Westerly is great. I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, personally, I mean, I spend a lot of time in Westerly, go to the Y there, and Nana's Westerly, and, there's so many great spots in Westerly. So no, I love it. It's a very charming downtown. And frankly, it's kind of one of those downtowns that really does feel like, a place where, our brand would fit in.
Yeah. Well, we would welcome you, my friend. But again, not that, I drive by Just Mystic like twice a week at least. So it's not far. But hold on. We have a comment here. Oh, it's just somebody. Hello. I wouldn't have mentioned the comment if I knew that it was just going to be my name with a bunch of stars. But thank you, John. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm really excited. I'm looking at the store right now, and I'm like, okay, so this is just a personal thing. Our cat just passed away, and her name was Mystic, and I'm like, that's okay. Thank you, I appreciate it. But it was my girlfriend's cat for 14 years, and I'm like, and she named her Mystic, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab her something from your store, and it'll have like a nice double meaning for her. That's really sweet. So I will be shopping as soon as we're done with this conversation. So what's next? Like, are you guys constantly constantly in ideation mode for new apparel, new styles? Like, how do you decide what to add to the collection?
Yeah, I mean, we're, again, we're very ambitious and we're very creative and very entrepreneurial. And, so we are always kind of just hungry for, keeping things fresh. And yeah, so I mean, from a product and design standpoint, we're always looking at new styles and paying attention to trends and seeing kind of, what's out there, what people like. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's, just one example. I mean, like, the camo hoodie that was very popular over the last year, and it still is very popular. We're pretty excited to be releasing a camo hoodie pretty soon, like a tree camo, which is it's a really beautiful product. And we're doing it, again, super, super high quality. We have our own pattern that we're using. So we're pretty excited about that and some other fall drops. We're working on, some outerwear, which we're really excited about, which we think we can, doing it again in a very high quality way. So I think some of these continued development in our product catalog is super exciting, and a lot of that stems from us kind of looking at trends and keeping an eye on that, but also kind of thinking about what are classic styles that fit with our brand that that we kind of need, and that people would be like, oh yeah, that totally fits, that makes sense. And if we don't have it yet, then we're working on developing it. So that's kind of that's one area of the business we're constantly iterating on and trying to evolve and always trying to do better, and making sure that the product we put out there is, again, really high quality. But from a bigger kind of macro perspective of the business and the brand, we're creating a parent entity, which is called the Just brand. And, so we're going to be rolling out a new website, just making some minor changes to it with new domains. But essentially, the Just brand would be the parent under which Just Mystic and Just Portsmouth and any other Just locations will then roll up into.
We had to do the exact same thing with 321 when we started doing broadcasts, because 321 Media was a marketing company, right, first and foremost, and then we launched the broadcast company, which was 321 Westerly, and then very quickly became not just Westerly, no pun intended. We became more than just Westerly, and we were like, oh, okay, well, everything has to be 321 Media now, and then we'll sort of wrap it all up into it. So I think that makes all the sense in the world. I like the Just brand, and it gives you the ability to, and with an apparel company and something like that, I would assume that the growth can come before physical locations, right? Or, I mean, I might be stepping ahead of myself there, but there's the potential, at least, for, if you have the Just brand, that you could, feel out different markets, for example, like the Westerly situation, right, where something like that could happen before a physical location.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, obviously, e-commerce is just a massive world, and we could create products for Annapolis, Maryland, as an example, right? And we could start putting it on the website to see, like, hey, are we and start pushing some marketing around that to see, like, hey, is there an interest there? Does it make sense to open a location? So you could definitely do that, but something that I talk about frequently.
I would buy an Annapolis hoodie, by the way. My dad graduated high school from Annapolis.
Oh, nice.
I mean, random, yeah.
Yeah, no, Annapolis is great. But what I often tell people in these conversations, which I think a lot of people don't realize, is that 85% of commerce in the United States is still in person. Only 15% is online. And I think that's kind of shocking for some people, because everyone, we're on our phones, we're on our computers all the time. So we just think everything is happening online. And obviously, like, Amazon is such a beast, but 85% of commerce is actually still happening in person. And so it sounds a little bit contrarian, but we really believe in that in-person shopping experience, that in-person retail experience. And it's why we also invested in, like, putting a photo booth, a static, photo booth, stationary photo booth in our stores because we want to create a great retail experience. And so I think, there is an element of needing to just commit to a location physically physically in that place if we're going to do it, because we just really believe like that's very important to the customer experience.
And that's the mission too, right? You said like you're the hometown collegiate store type situation. So that sort of dedication, yes, you can test other markets and see how they would be gauge their interest. But the mission of the business is to be that hometown store. So of course you're going to want to do that in person. And yeah, the other thing is, like, when you buy online with all of these online retailers and apparel companies and stuff, one of the biggest complaints of all of them is quality. And that's not something that you have an issue with Just Mystic, because it's incredibly high quality, but you don't necessarily know that unless you're in person and there and able to feel the material and see it and experience it like that. So that's another thing that separates you guys. And of course, as the brand grows, that will follow you. But yeah, of course, that's why that's so important.
Yeah. I mean, we, in the industry, we call it hand feel, and you can't get the hand feel online, obviously. Nobody's figured out how to do that yet. And we see it in our stores, when people walk in, it's kind of funny. I don't think many people realize they're doing it, but they're walking around and they're just like, touching things, like running their hand like along the wall of like, crew necks, for instance. And they instantly get that kind of tactile sense of like, oh, wow, like this is like really nice quality. And so that hand feel element is super important. And yeah, obviously you can only get that in person.
Yeah, absolutely. What has been you're originally from Mystic? You said that when you were working for Nike, you would constantly be coming home. Are you originally from here?
I'm from the area. Yeah. I went to Norwich Free Academy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just down the road.
Shout out to NFA.
NFA. Yeah, absolutely. Great school. So I grew up in the Norwich area in my youth, and then my family moved down to Mystic, later on, and they've been there for quite a while. So I've been basically calling Mystic home for about 20 years now. Although I've kind of lived elsewhere, but yeah, so from the area.
Nice. You know what? Same. I'm not from Westerly originally. But I'm 20 minutes away. I know normally I would ask what's next. We already talked about Just Brands. You're up in Portsmouth right now. How's that going?
It's great. Yeah. I mean, there is an element of, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself while you're still kind of in the middle of building something new. And so, yeah, we'd only been open for 3 weeks in Portsmouth. So it's quite the grind at the moment. Still kind of getting things, getting it, into a good rhythm, building our retail team, training the retail team, and frankly, just building relationships with the local community, some of the local leaders, local businesses, other owners. So there's a lot of kind of like work on the ground that needs to still happen here for us to like really kind of be a part of the community. But it's going very well. People have been incredibly welcoming, very receptive too. We've heard a ton of, incredible compliments, about our store in particular, just saying it's a beautiful build out. It's so fresh, it's so clean, those types of comments, but also things, just around the brand and saying this is exactly what our town needed. You guys are going to do so great here. It's, it's been overwhelmingly positive, and a ton of work, of course, as well, but just, very fulfilling, to get these, to get this kind of response.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2 stores in 3 years is impressive. Everything that you've done is impressive, and I would expect nothing less with your background and your drive and getting to talk to you and getting to know you a little bit today has been awesome. I can't wait until you're back down in Westerly, and we'll have we'll have you in studio. I'll come down and say hello at the store, and this has been just fantastic, man. It reminds me, not that obviously the businesses are not similar, but Zoe's, which is a downtown Westerly staple, the professional bra fitters, they are a clothing store, and they have a Zoe's here and a Zoe's in New Hampshire and a Zoe's in Cape Cod, and it's everywhere they go, people absolutely love them, and I see exactly the same thing happening for you. Obviously, they're very different businesses, but that's what I thought of especially because of the two locations. The second location being in New Hampshire.
Totally.
Portsmouth is great. You know what? I may come up to do an interview with you in Portsmouth just as an excuse to get up there because I miss New Hampshire. But
that'd be impressive. You should. Yeah, Portsmouth is great. Like I said, it's kind of like a bigger version of Mystic, or even a bigger version of Westerly. I mean, like, there's a lot of brick architecture here, and you have a lot of that like kind of brick architecture in Westerly. So it's a really beautiful place. Situated on the coast, of course, and there's so many great businesses here too. So you should definitely come up.
Will do. Thank you so much, man. Have a great rest of your summer, and we'll be in touch. Guys, check out Just Mystic. You can go to the website, justmystic.com. You can also go check them out in person, 33 West Main Street in Mystic, open daily from 11 to 6. And you can follow them on Instagram, Just Mystic Brand. And if you want to follow Portsmouth, Just Portsmouth, you can go to Just Portsmouth Brand. And of course, if you're in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, stop by 16 Congress Street in Portsmouth. Same hours, 11 to 6 daily. Love it. Thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to make a quick drive down to Mystic and purchase something for my girlfriend, because I've been inviting a lot of people over recently as well. And we sort of redid the house, and I've been inviting a lot of people over and not necessarily asking her. So I kind of need to, make up for that a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.